health. In the last session, we had seen that human body is a coexistence of self and body. So basically, human beings is a coexistence of self and body. So the need of the self, as we have been talking about, is continuous, whereas the need of the body is intermittent. So when we, when we have to nurture our body, so we have to take care of our health. So today in this session, we will be discussing about what are the things that we need to understand in order to protect and nurture our body through right understanding and right feelings. Now, we have our basic aspiration as to be happy and to be prosperous in continuity. Are you able to see this? So we see that at the individual level, the aspirations that we have is to be happy, to be healthy, and there is a quest for knowledge, the ability to decide properly on my own, that is independently, purification of the mind, controlling the mind, and self-confidence. So my aspirations or our aspirations or the basic aspirations that we have is same for all. And so health is also a very pertinent aspect in fulfilling our aspirations. Because once if we are healthy, so the harmony is within the self and the body. So when the self is in harmony, so the harmony can be ensured with the body as well. And now we can see that these are some of the concerns that we see at the individual level that is coming out of stress, managing pressure of academics, time management, loss of time due to illness, entertainment, domination of one gender by the other, pressure of placement, overcoming negative thinking, attending classes, peer pressure, temptations, anger, depression, and suicidal thoughts. So when we see these concerns, so our major concern also lies in, that is the loss of time due to illness. Are you able to see this? So we see that the human body is a very self-organized and highly sophisticated mechanism, isn't it? So let us pause and think here. As we say that the human body in itself has a very organized and a sophisticated mechanism to maintain itself. With these concerns that we are having at the individual level, how can we ensure health as well as harmony within ourselves? Now, here is a question, or I would say a kind of a quiz that is at this age, like when we are, say, for example, at a very young age, I do need to understand the program to ensure good health, isn't it? At any age that I am, because when I am young and I take care of myself, so it's a kind of a, I enrich myself throughout the process of my life. But if I don't ensure my health and harmony at a particular age when I'm supposed to do it, that is, when I'm young. So definitely the program, I do need to understand. Otherwise, I will be in disharmony. So when I am a child, when an infant is there, so the concern of good health doesn't matter to him because his body is nurturing him, and he has the mechanism which is working for him. But as we grow up, we are exposed to numerous kinds of junk food. Sometimes sometimes peer pressure also works in consuming this junk food. Like, though I may not like it, I know that is not good for my body and health. But then still, I sometimes get into this, having some junk food in order because I want to be included in the group of others. When my friends tell me that, please have a little, or we are having, let us have this. So this kind of things go on with us. So do you think at this age, I do need to understand the program to ensure good health? So what do you think? You can pause and think and verify for yourself that do you strongly agree to this kind of a proposal? Do you agree? Or do you neither agree or not disagree, or completely disagree, or strongly disagree? So this can be verified at the individual level. That do I really need to understand the program to ensure good health? Now, my aspiration goes as to be healthy, want to eat tasty but healthy food, and want a healthy, peaceful environment, isn't it? All of us need, all of us want that we need to have to be healthy at all times because being healthy will ensure harmony within myself. So what I want to do is I want to eat tasty but healthy food and want a healthy and peaceful environment. But the issues that I see or I find in the environment, maybe due to pollution, maybe due to my intake of junk food or something that which is unhealthy. So I fall into certain infections, or sometimes due to pollution which we have already created, that is by cutting down of trees, or due to this too much of overutilization of or destruction of nature. So we are exposed to some kind of infections and some non-communicable disorders like obesity when we eat a lot of junk food, which is so much of oil, and sometimes it is stale as well. And so this brings a lot of obesity. And with this obesity, the outcome is we are under tension and depression. And then there is inefficient use of time. So the ultimate resultant, what we find is that is there is a time lost due to this illness. Are you able to see this? As the basic aspirations goes for all of us, that is to be healthy, because we want to be happy and prosperous at all levels. How can we be happy and in harmony? That is when we are healthy within the mind and the body. So our aspiration and our understanding should go as that is we want to eat tasty food but healthy food and want a healthy and peaceful environment. But the issues that we come across, we see that there is some sort of in the environment, there are certain infections and we are prone to or we get exposed to these infections. And they're also like we get obesity and it leads to tension, depression, and the right use of time is not possible, and there is time lost due to illness. So let us explore how understanding in human being can help us in realizing our aspirations and also resolving the issues holistically. So is there any questions? I would appreciate if you ask any questions or any kind of a reflection that when you are eating something that which is unhealthy, or sometimes you know that I want to have I should be having a healthy food, but at the same time, I tend to eat something that which is not very healthy. Okay, so moving further, then, we have seen that as this human body is a self-organized and highly sophisticated mechanism, we observe that our body is made up of several organs, you know, and glands, and the different parts of the body keep working in close circulation. So to ensure health in our body, so we have to also maintain our understanding about that there should be no time loss due to illness, because this will cause a lot of depression, and inefficient use of time will cause disharmony. So do you agree, or can you see this in the question that which is there, that there is loss of time due to illnesses? Do you strongly agree to this, or you agree to this, or you neither agree or disagree, or you completely disagree or strongly disagree? As we can see, the present scenario, if when we talk about the pandemic which had happened some 2 years, 3 years back, so you can see that the pandemic which was caused, it was also somewhere or the other we were responsible for it. And we could see that the cause of the when we were there in the lockdown, the kind of sort of we felt so much of deprived of things, and we were at the same time we thought of the infections that was there around in the environment, which was scary as well. So could you verify this, that is, though our aspiration is to be healthy, we want to eat tasty food but healthy food, but at the same time the issues that we see around are of all these infections which leads to obesity due to say for example we create the disorder in the body by eating a lot of junk food which causes obesity, and there is stress and depression, and the time is lost due to illnesses. Now, when we understand about health, we have to understand about human beings. So once we understand about human being, we will be able to more acknowledge the fact about our health. Now, as we have been talking about, that human being is a coexistence of self and body. And the need of the self is continuous, which is of happiness, and it is also qualitative because we cannot measure. As here in the example, you can see it is given respect. Can we measure this? How much of respect do I need? Is it 1 kilo respect? Is it 2 kilo respect? Or few respect, some respect? So similarly, if you see the needs of the body, which is with the physical facility, for example, food, and it is temporary. Do you require food at all the time, or you require it intermittently? And it is also quantitative in nature, that is required in limited quantity, and it can be fulfilled by physiochemical things, whereas the need of the self can be fulfilled by right understanding and right feeling. And the activity that goes on in the self is of imagination, of desire, thought, and expectation, but the activity in the body which goes on as eating, walking, and it is a temporary activity. But the activity or that goes on in the self is a continuous activity. Now, if I am to put a question out here, that do you think that you need this happiness and prosperity in continuity, or you feel that sometimes I should be happy and sometimes I should not be happy? Are you able to see this? So I'm sure that all of us, we want to be in harmony at all point of times. Whereas the need of the body is temporary and it is fulfilled by these physiochemical things. And the activity that is we do is eating, walking. When I'm hungry, I eat. So walking is some sort of an exercise, which is again temporary, whereas the need of the self is continuous. Now, the need of the self, that is of continuity of happiness and prosperity at all times, is fulfilled by right understanding and right feeling. So here, the feeling of self-regulation, it leads to the feeling that is taking care of your health. Now, what is this feeling of self-regulation? It is taking the responsibility towards the body for nurturing, protection, and right utilization of the body. As we see that the self is a kind of the entity which gives instructions to the body, and the body acts according to the self. So are you able to see this? Now I want to eat healthy food and tasty food as well. So this is my aspiration. So when I instruct my body, so my body acts accordingly, that I take a balanced diet, with which what happens, that the parts of the body are in harmony. Because as I said, that it already has a mechanism. The body already has a mechanism which is very much self-organized. And so the body is made up of cells, and when we closely observe, the body reveals that each cell is self-organized and participating in the self-organization of the body as a whole. So as I come to realize that the body is the instrument and the body needs to be given nutrition, protected from the environment, and utilized to work in an efficient and effective tool for the right purpose, I become responsible to the body. And this sense of responsibility, it flows naturally and does not have to be imposed, isn't it? When I have this right understanding of eating right kind of food and having this responsibility towards my body, I have the feeling of responsibility towards the body, towards nurturing, protecting, and right utilization of the body. So definitely, I need not impose anything on myself. So there is no feeling of control or imposition, but a feeling of responsibility that is regulating the way we take care of and use our body. Are you able to see this? And is there any questions? I would appreciate if we can explore further with this. Now, with this, let us answer these questions and verify it with ourselves. That is, health problems today are more due to problem with the body, problem with the self, neither body nor self. What do you think? The health problems that we are facing today are more due to problem with the body or problem with the self, or neither the body nor self. What do you think? So here I would say that the health problems that we are facing today is due to the more due to the self, because there's a psychological kind of a feeling which leads to depression and some sort of a kind of every time we have this psychological traumatic feeling in us, that's because we are not able to understand the right understanding about the feeling of responsibility towards our body. Now I may be having sitting with a very balanced diet, okay, in my plate, and I'm ready to eat that, or I'm eating that. But when I'm watching in front of me, or I'm watching the television and I watch something of lot of violence in that and lot of bloodshed in that. So what is the outcome of that? Even if I'm eating a very balanced diet, but when I watch violence and bloodshed, when watch in the television, so that's creating a sort of disharmony within myself, and also a kind of a traumatic feeling that I'm having in myself. So this should be our understanding, that how do we have this feeling, ensure the feeling of right understanding and right feeling towards taking the responsibility towards our body for nurturing, protection, and right utilization of the body. And when we understand the right utilization of the body, then we realize that the steps that we need to take in order to protect our body and nurture our body and to be healthy and to be in harmony. Now, the body is an orderly system. That is, it is already in harmony. It has a definite conduct. So all the cells in the body, they work together, as we discussed, in harmony with each other, participating in larger order to form tissues, organs, and organ systems. Now, the self has to ensure the continuity of that harmony and not to disturb it. Are you able to see this? Pause and think. We can self-explore about this. If I have a feeling of responsibility towards the body, I will do what is required for fulfilling that responsibility. And this will ensure health in the body, isn't it? So when I live with this, right understanding, or when I live, when I understand that I have to ensure the continuity of the harmony of the body, and I take the responsible feeling of responsibility toward the body, I will do what is required to fulfill. That is, in different parts of the body, and the body acts according to a useful instrument for me. Are you able to see this? Now, out of self-regulation and health, what holds the higher priority for you? Answer 1 is having the feeling of self-regulation, and answer 2 is, or the second option is, having a healthy body to start with. What do you think? What holds higher priority for you? Now, to answer this, having the feeling of self-regulation should be the priority, because it ensures, that is, you have the feeling of responsibility towards your body, of nurturing and protecting the body. So the healthy body is an outcome of the feeling of self-regulation. As we discussed, having right kind of food, having a balanced diet, having a diet which is good for me, which doesn't cause illness for me. Because when I fall ill, so it also brings me into a disharmonious state, which is not naturally acceptable to me. Are you able to see this? So next we will explore program to ensure health. Now, for staying healthy, we need intake and a daily routine, a lifestyle with some labor and exercise. Now, intake along with food. The other intakes also includes the air, water, sunlight, food. What kind of food? Food which is nutritious, digestible, tasty, and the waste is excretable. This is also very important. And intake through our senses, that is sound, light, smell, etc. As I was giving up the previous example, that is, I'm having some food, but there's loud music and around. So I'm mentally disturbed there. Or I'm having a balanced diet, but I'm watching something that which has so much of violence in it. So it creates a kind of disharmony in my body. And that mental state creates a disharmony, and my food that I intake is not giving me any kind of a protection, rather because I'm already in disharmony within. And then the rising time, sleeping time, eating time. Now this is also very important. So when the lifestyle that I maintain, I know that I have to wake up at this particular point of time, I need to sleep at this particular time. Say, for example, when I sleep and I understand that waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning will give me a kind of right, it'll make me happy and healthier. And sleeping at right time, say 10 a.m. or at 10 p.m., I'm so sorry, or 11 p.m., but then waking up at 5 a.m. So accordingly, I maintain the time schedule of sleep of 7 hours of sleep. And so when I take enough sleep, so I wake up I wake up more refreshed. And I don't have to put an alarm. But when I put an alarm and the alarm snoozes at 5 a.m., I put it down. Again the alarm snoozes, again I put it down. So what happens then? So I'm not trying to follow. So my basic, need, that is myself is not instructing, myself doesn't, this is not my responsibility that I take towards myself, but I'm imposing. Now, the outcome of labor is production of physical facility and exercise. So exercise is also a very important factor. Now, exercise could be, when people are, say, for example, people are who are engaged into some agricultural activity, so they have definitely physical exercise is more. But what about people who are not into this? So they can do some sort of an exercise as, a daily work labor, as in a daily day-to-day work, cleaning your rooms. That is also a kind of a physical exercise which is required. Cleaning your wardrobe. So all these things, it helps you in order to maintain your health. And there is some sort of a physical activity that which is going on and which is required. So, and it is also for us to understand that no physical facility is produced by exercise. So for bringing body back to harmony from temporary disharmony, so we are dependent sometimes on medicines, but it is always good to have your own, supposing you are having some sort of a illness, which could be a possibility. So there you can have some kind of home remedies. And if it doesn't work out, if it is more towards that, then or more stronger, then you can take some medication. But dependence on drugs and that it becomes a kind of a machine to perform a body function. So we have to understand that for staying healthy, the intake and the daily routine also should be in a kind of a nutritious, digestible, and which is tasty also. And at the same time, the intake that we do take through our senses should also be very much in harmony within our within the with the food that we are taking. So is there any reflection out here, or is it something that you have to ask? You may please ask. You're free. I would appreciate to answer your questions. Now, you can see it for yourself and explore that I can see that all 4 programs are important for my health. That is intake, daily routine, labor, and exercise. So do you strongly agree? Do you agree? Or you neither agree nor disagree? Or you disagree or strongly agree? Yes, thank you. Now, when we talk of intake, intake includes all that we take in through our sense organs, air, water, sunlight, food. Along with this, we also have feelings and thoughts in response to outside events, circumstances, etc., isn't it? As I was saying, that when we, sometimes we go out, we see that there's a lot of, we see some injustice going on. Okay, so our response to that outside event where we see that there is some injustice going on, that makes us quite uncomfortable within ourselves, isn't it? Yes, thank you so much. So are you able to say this? That our response to the outside events and circumstances, it also creates a sort of disharmony. And the intake that we are talking about, which includes that is what we take through our sense organs, that is air, water, sunlight, food, in right way. That is as much as water. When I wake up in the morning, it is always advisable to have enough water, at least 2 glasses of warm water. So the food should be healthy. So that creates a kind of harmony. But at the same time, we also have these feelings and thoughts in response to outside events and circumstances. So in order to maintain our health, intake of food that is not only tasty, but also nutritious and digestible and rich in fiber. Because if you take too much of, fine flour or, products of or junk food, so or with too much of oil, so they might be tasty for which has a momentary taste and gives us some sort of a pleasure, but it is never nutritious and digestible. But food that which is rich in fiber, so it helps us to digest easily, and which is efficiently excretable, that is the thing that which is not required for us can be taken out. So intake of water in right amount and at the right time. So no, this is also very important. So it is not that I have to take water, so I'll take enough water, but I have to also realize that how much of water I need to take and at what time, what should be my regulation. And daily exposure to fresh air and sunlight. So this is also a very important aspect, which nowadays, we because we always sit in AC rooms and we forget about getting exposed to fresh air and sunlight. So we always prefer to be in AC rooms, which is sometimes, which is most of the times not very healthy. And awareness of choice of food as above, that is how much to eat, sensation of fullness. Now, this is also very important. Now, if I'm aware of making a choice of food, say, for example, I like to have, rasgullas. Now, how much to eat? So maybe the one rasgulla that I have should be enough for me to have that sweet feeling within me. But supposing I don't have this sensation and I like some food and I go on overeating. So what is the outcome of overeating? It brings in more of obesity, isn't it? Are we able to see this? We see this mostly in our children and the students that we are looking forward to. So these students, they have to be made aware of these kind of understanding, that is right understanding and right feeling about to protect their body, how to have to inculcate them this feeling of self-regulation, taking the responsibility of their body and avoiding distractions by other intake through our senses and the thoughts they generate in us, especially while eating. The example that I gave you a few minutes ago, that is when when I'm eating something healthy maybe, but what I'm watching is something of violence, bloodshed, a destruction. So it creates a lot of distractions, and these distractions are not very healthy for my mind and body. So, for example, as it is given, what we are seeing, focusing on the meal or watching the TV, playing games on the mobile, etc., and hearing and being a part of arguments with others. So, are you able to see this? And how many times we do have this kind of a observation within us, and we see that this happens with our children as well. That is, the students, they keep on playing games, and at the same time they are having food. So, or they are into some sort of an argument. So all these things, in order to maintain health, we have to understand that how do we regulate ourselves with the right understanding and right feeling, and what is the intake that we have, the right intake that we have in order to nurture and protect our body. Now, this daily routine and which is harmony in with nature, that is the circadian rhythm. So which is something very important, that it is already there in us. That is waking up at 6 a.m. That is the wake up time. And then you have this breakfast time. And then within the breakfast time, and there is some gap between the lunch time. Now, as it is written, the 12 p.m., it is the strongest time because the sun, as it is in it with its fullest vigor. And this causes a lot, it helps a lot in our digestion. So so usually it is advisable to have our lunch between 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m. And between that and the rest of the time from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. The lunch time, and after 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. it's a time for absorption and assimilation. So at that point of time, when the sun is losing its vigor, that is, it's on the setting mode. So at that point of time, the food is more into absorption and assimilation. And then 6 p.m. should be the ideal dinner time. And then 10 p.m. the bedtime. So 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. we are in a deep sleep mode. And from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m., it is a liver activation that goes on, which detoxes and repairs. And from 2 a.m. to, that is again, there is waste removal. And then we again come back to this 6 a.m. So this kind of this rhythm, which is already there, and if we can always inculcate in our daily routine, which is doable and not a very difficult task at all, because we have to have this feeling of self-regulation. We have to take the responsibility of our body. But what is happening these days is the students keep awake for a very late hour, and so they do not wake up at the right time. So the entire this rhythm is disturbed. So when the rhythm is disturbed, so there is disharmony in the body, and it causes ill health to us. Are we able to see this? So can we inculcate these habits in our daily routine so that we are more healthy? Now, it is for us to verify and pause and think and answer that, do I follow the circadian rhythm? Do I follow the circadian rhythm always, most of the time, only sometimes, or never? Okay, so most of the times, that's wonderful. And it should be so. But again, so what happens is, so if it is followed most of the time, definitely we are more healthy and more active in our day-to-day activities, isn't it? Yeah. We're talking of the labor that one should do. Now, yes. So the labor that we do, now we cannot, all of us cannot be into this agricultural activities, and particularly our students. So they need to be, made to understand about this adequate movement of the body, which is required, and plus the production of physical facility. So here are some examples which will ensure the labor, that is sweeping and swabbing your room. So your room should be cleaned, and your house, if you're there in a house, your hostel, wherever you are, that should be clean. And if you are staying at home, so some sort of kitchen gardening will also help. And cycling to your college and back. Now this is a very enterprising practice which one should do, because we use bikes, which we use four wheelers or two wheelers, so this not only causes pollution, but at the same time, it also doesn't make us to do any kind of an exercise. So the labor that we are talking about to ensure adequate movement of the body. So this is something which we can bring in, and of course it is doable. We talk of battery cars, and one would argue that we have battery cars, battery scooties, so that doesn't have any kind of pollution, but the carbon emission that the batteries do. So we all are aware of it. So in order to ensure this adequate movement of the body, which is required, so we need to take up such kind of, uh, you know, activities, and ensure adequate movement of the body. So, we can do some sort of, yoga practices, which would also ensure some adequate movement of the body. Now, these are certain postures also for regulating internal and external body organs, that is regulated breathing. For example, yoga, pranayam. So, are you able to see this, and are you following this? Oh, that's fantastic. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Managing your kids is difficult alone, especially when you're working, definitely. Very true. But at the same time, can we teach our children? So, as much as possible, we can do it, but at the same time, we can teach our children so that they can follow. And so, once we start doing it, once we start practicing, so slowly it will come to our the lifestyle will come to our children as well, which will be very much beneficial for them. So sometimes when we are ill, now, so at that time, for bringing our body back to harmony from temporary disharmony, we could use some home remedies. Like, we have some like kadha, what you say, like we add cloves, and we add some kind of bay leaves, and then we have that for some relief from throat pain, or there could be many other home remedies which would help us to get back to the system. And there are also integrated systems of medicines, which is more important, and it also which will bring us back from temporary disharmony to harmony. And but at the same time, what happens is, if we are trying to have this self-regulation, that is having a feeling of responsibility towards our body, taking care of the body. So probably we might not use this kind of drugs, for example, getting into insulin, like, we see that a lot of people are diabetic, and they have to take insulin, and again, some of them have kidney problems, liver problems. So these problems which is coming, so we have a lot of dependence on these kind of external medication. Now if the disease is chronic, now but so that is a different issue. We have to take help of these medications, but it is always good to maintain this harmony of the body, and that is possible only through self-regulation. So are we able to see this and verify it within ourselves? Now, for staying healthy, as we discussed, that the intake and daily routine should be very much in regulation. That is the intake that we say of air, water, sunlight, food. So everything has to be in proper balanced manner, and the daily routine, that is the lifestyle that we adapt to, our waking up time, our sleeping time, our food habits. So all this should be in a regulated manner, in a timely manner, which would help us in order to keep our health, keep ourselves healthy, along with the right kind of labor and some exercises. So, and there are, exercises, as in it could be yogic practices, it could be meditation, and the postures for regulating internal and external body organs and regulated breathing. Now, this is also something very much important when we have this regulated breathing exercises. Now, if we take up this question, what is my take on priority for programs for health? That is, do I strongly agree, neither agree or disagree, or strongly disagree or disagree completely? What do you think? What is my take on the priority for programs for health? What is your priority here for staying healthy? Absolutely, very good. So yes, so that's something wonderful answers that we are getting. And it's absolutely good because we set examples for our students as well as children at home when we take responsibility of our own body. Now, this is an home assignment. That is, when we assume that human being is equal to body, happiness is sought through sensation through the body. As a result, the body is harmed due to excessive consumption or overindulgence to get favorable sensation. That is overeating, consumption of junk food, etc., which is common, and a large number of diseases uh, are psychosomatic in nature. So there is a major impact on family, society, and nature. Can we try to find answers for this? That is, when we assume that human being is equal to body, so happiness is thought through sensation through the body, through external factors. So as a result, what happens? The body is harmed due to excessive consumption or overindulgence to get favorable sensation. That is, overeating is there, consumption of junk food, which etc. is very common, and a large number of diseases are psychosomatic in nature. It affects our psychology. And so through this, what happens? There is a major impact on family, society, and nature. Can we, realize this? Can we, can we see that is this the present state that we are in? So now, what is a holistic solution to address these issues? So any questions? Like I would love to take it. So, so what, in summary, if we have to sum up the thing, so human being, as we discussed, is a coexistence of self and the body. There is an exchange of information between the self and the body, and self is the entity while the body is a material unit. So when I have the feeling of self-regulation, that is, I feel the responsibility towards my body. So to protect, nurture my body. So my body and myself is in harmony. That is, I'm living with harmony. So we also saw that self-regulation is the feeling of responsibility in the self to ensure the nurturing, protection, and right utilization of the body, which has two elements. One, that body acts according to the self, and secondly, there is harmony between the parts of the body. And the need of physical facilities to nurture, protect, and right utilization of the body is limited. So when we evaluate our state today, we find that we are not quite responsible towards taking care of the body today, especially if we talk of our students. And so these things we can ensure within our students by making them understand about this right utilization, right feeling, and right understanding about their own health and body. And so we need to go for medication at times, which we see that lot of, we see there are a lot of people who are diabetic and they have, and so they have to go for medication and all kinds of things. And so we need to we tend to go for medication in place of ensuring the health of the body. And even the air, food, water, etc. we consume are no more fully suited to the health because of pollution, and to some extent it is self-created because we have cut trees for industrial growth, industrialization. And so we need to understand and live with self-regulation to ensure health. So clarity of the needs of the body paves way towards ensuring prosperity. So thank you so much. I hope I could reach out to you and make these proposals validate. And we have to self-explore and verify within ourselves and try to have this feeling of self-regulation of nurturing and protecting our body. Thank you so much. Namaste. Namaste, Sabiko. And if any reflections are there, we can take. If anybody wants to share on anything on this, so I would be very happy to listen to the reflections and sharing. So you may please feel free to share your ideas. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bhaiya.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you so much. But Kumardeep Bhaiya has unmuted himself. He want to say something. Kanwar Bhaiya, you
हाँ
want
दीदी
to?
नमस्ते।
You want to share something?
हाँ दीदी नमस्ते।
Namaste. Please go ahead.
दीदी बहुत अच्छा सेशन था। It was a very good session. I would like to ask one question, Didi. Whatever you discussed today, I
Yes.
follow in my routine. I used to get up early between 4 to 5, go to bed on 5, about 10 or 10:30 maximum, and have some, since my childhood, I used to go for the, it was in hills, from the hills of Uttarakhand. So there is a food habit of millets and all. So, but why I don't know why I'm having the diabetes.
Um, Now, Bhaiya, this is a kind of a good thing which you have been doing. That is, maintaining your time, regulating yourself. But you see, we have a control on our intake. We have a control on our, understanding of right feeling and right understanding about nurturing our body. But the environment has some role to play in this, perhaps, because, we see a lot of pollution here, and we see the food sometimes that we take is with a lot of adulteration. So this could be some of the reasons to have some diseases which I think we don't have much control on, or a solution to this, that why do I have it? But nevertheless, we can find solutions for the younger generations so that they do not fall into this kind of a issue. And you see as we also discussed about the environment, the present state of environment is full of pollution, full of adulteration, and sometimes they use a lot of pesticides in order to get more of earning for the through their agriculture products. So these all are also very unhealthy for us. So some way or the other, we also fall prey to these kind of food. So this is again, yes. So this is perhaps one of the reasons which could cause diseases in us. So, Bhaiya, hope to some extent I could answer your question.
You touched my question, Didi. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bhaiya.
Thank you, Didi. If anyone else is having any question, they can unmute themselves because I have provided mic to everyone of you. If you want to share something or you want to ask any question, you can unmute yourself. Otherwise, it's about to be 8:30 now. We can conclude our day for today. So I thank Didi for such an informative session, and really helps us in our exploration journey and helps us grow a little more healthier than what we are practicing currently. So thank you, Didi, for being there for such an informative session. Hope it will help every one of us for in our health and in our life. This note, thank you so much, everyone, and see you again in the next follow-up meeting. Thank you. Namaste to all.
Thank you, Didi. Namaste so much. Namaste to all.